We're alive. And welcome to another NinjaBill and Friends. And I am joined tonight by special guests from our channel, Arbitrary Hero. If you are not familiar with the channel, I highly suggest you go check it out. They have awesome content, so much content to select from. And our host tonight, or as a host tonight, I really need to just give a shout out to these guys because I really enjoy their work. And I often watch their live shows. They have a one in particular I wanted to talk about with them tonight, which is called the Extra Life Challenge. So first and foremost, welcome to the channel, Arbitrary Hero.
Thank you. Yeah, so this is Cameron from Arbitrary Hero. We're a group of friends. Unfortunately, the other two main peeps, Nate and Hannah, couldn't make this chat. But I'm happy to join you here. We've talked a couple times about Transformers, and I think we mostly talk on like the Transformers Facebook group. So it's exciting to chat in person, so to speak.
Absolutely, absolutely. And among other things, Cam here is a big proponent of the Transformers TCG game. So if anyone out there is familiar with that, I have won some in some of his contests, some cards, and he sent me some cards, and they're fantastic. I have no one to play with, unfortunately. That's not his problem. That's mine.
Yeah, that's something I'm actively trying to work on, is help promote and grow the game so we have more people to play with.
Awesome, awesome. Awesome. So let's see here. We have someone in comments. Wolfemus and Input, welcome. And in a moment, I will add a link here and and Input. If you would like to join me, there you go. There is a link so you can join us, and then I will start. I have some questions for Arbitrary Hero if he would like to answer them.
Yeah.
So first and foremost, tell us about the Extra Life Challenge. What it is, how it started, and how we can help.
Yeah. Okay. So for us, Extra Life started last year. I think as a larger event, Extra Life has been going on for at least 10 years, maybe longer. I think it started in like 2007 or so. And it's essentially a giant grassroots fundraiser to raise money for the Children's Miracle Network of Hospital, which is a group of U.S. national children's hospitals to help fund things like research into pediatric care, a lot of like children's hospitals that specialize in, unfortunately, like cancer cases in kids, help families raise money or help support families who might be struggling with the cost of care. The reason that Nate, Hannah, and myself at Arbitrary Hero hopped in, I can't remember off the top of my head where we first heard about it. I want to say it was actually from some other Transformers fans. The guys at WTF at TFW 2005, the podcast, Aaron Axsmith, he's a big proponent of Extra Life. I think he's the first time I ever heard about Extra Life as an event. And every year they raise money. And the way you raise money is kind of up to you, but it's mostly grassroots, nerd culture, gamer oriented. So for us, like, it seemed like a great fit that, hey, we have this channel, we like hanging out playing video games. We were kind of curious as to like if we could help at all. And we ended up helping out a lot. I think our original goal for last year was to raise $1,000. And then like in the first week we hit that goal, and then we had to figure out what to do next. So we said, okay, we'll try and raise $3,000. And in 2019, we ended up raising over $4,000. The total was like 4,024. So like it's mostly thanks to that's a big round of applause to everyone in the community. Like we had so many fellow Transformers fans, video game fans, people who watch the channel, friends of ours. Everyone seemed very willing to help. So it was a really cool experience, and we're going to be doing it again for 2020.
That is so awesome. Wow. That is, I'm really impressed. I'm really impressed. Over 4,000 now. I gotta say, I'm I greatly enjoy watching you guys play, especially if you haven't watched their latest one. And by the way, welcome to the channel, Input. How are you doing tonight?
Hey,
I'm good. How are you guys?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. I watched their latest where Hannah was playing Resident Evil, and every time she was about to go into a new area in the chat, I would pop up with, "Watch out, Hannah! A wild Pokemon has appeared."
Well, so like you were watching, like to her, the scariest thing isn't the zombies. It's like the Dutch angles they use in the game, like the camera angles. It was super funny.
Resident Evil games are notorious for bad camera angles. I don't know what it is. It's just like, I suppose they think it adds to the suspense, but seriously, the camera angles are just awful sometimes, especially for like during boss fights. It's just like, what the heck, man? Free motion camera would have been, or straight on camera would, from the side or something would have been so much better. But that was, so I can see how she's frustrated with that.
Yeah, but the reason she's playing Resident Evil is because like each of us came up with a personal goal, and hers was if she raised $500 last year, she would play a horror game that people voted on. And if I remember right, it was almost a tie. Resident Evil beat out Dead Space by 1 vote. Some people voted for like Silent Hill or like a different Resident Evil game. But yeah, so now she's stuck playing Resident Evil, and I think over the next month and a half or so, we're going to be live streaming it a couple times until she beats it.
That sounds cool.
Yeah. If you haven't seen the show, Hannah is prone to, I don't want to call it anxiety, but she stresses a lot. So putting her in a horror game, in a horror setting, is, to me, super funny. Like that's kind of the reason we started doing the channel.
I don't mean to laugh at her pain, but my God, is it hilarious watching?
Yeah, it's okay. You can laugh. You're laughing at her pain for the kids.
And that one moment she hit you like you was some kind of jerk and you were just trying to be, encouraging, and she was like, knock it off.
Yeah. No, she doesn't handle it well. Well, I think my favorite moment, I'll have to go back and grab it in a clip at some point. There's a moment where like you walk in a room and there's mirrors, and she saw her own character in the mirror, and that terrified her, and she like ran out of that room. It was great. The whole stream was great.
It was good. It was good. I left briefly to watch a video from Kato, and then I came back and joined you guys, and it was a fantastic stream. And those are the types of streams folks will see when they join that Extra Life Challenge live stream. You won't be able to join the show in of itself, but they do have a live chat available. And I strongly encourage everyone to go check out Arbitrary Hero's channel. They have lots of great content, gaming. In Cam's case, he does Transformer toy reviews.
Yeah, I'm the Transformer guy on the
team. Nice, and it's a great channel, great people, and people I really respect. And this Extra Life Challenge is just something I think everybody should get behind. So whenever they're doing a live stream, you guys should go, participate a little bit, donate what you can, when you can, if you can. And I really wanted to get you guys on here to be a part of my show so you guys could further talk about it.
Yeah, I appreciate it. And the way it works is like we're still getting set up for 2020, but sometime in July we'll start campaigning hardcore. And our plan last year, what we found was successful is we had giveaways and stuff. Like I gave away, I raffled off toys for my collection. This year, I think we're going to raffle off some games, some Dungeons and Dragons stuff, because we all like that. And through July, August, September, and October, we try and hit our goal. And then November 7th is our personal deadline, because on November 7th, we're going to be doing a 24-hour live stream like we did last year.
Wow.
So last year, we learned some things from last year. Last year, we started at midnight, and that was very stupid. Like we were just exhausted by the end of it. This time we're gonna start at like 8 or 10 a.m. and go 24 hours playing different games and stuff, trying to
Wake
make
up
the
refreshed.
last push. Yeah, exactly. And we'll be better about shifts. Last year we were so excited and like we were really amped up to be a part of it that we all just hung out in the room the entire time. This year I'm gonna enforce like mandatory shifts so people, like not all of us can be in the room at once, because I think that contributed to our
Exhaustion.
how tired we were at the end of it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So, once again, for those in the chat, this is Arbitrary Hero, Cam from Arbitrary Hero, and again, I just strongly suggest you guys go hang out at their channel, watch their content, go back, watch some videos, watch their live streams. They are great. And so now let's get on to some Transformers news, related news, and all things that we here in the chat and here in the show enjoy. So, Arbitrary Hero, any new Transformer news that you've heard that you are excited about?
Yeah, well, I don't know if I can share screen. Is there a way? Can you put up? Did you guys see the Scorponok picture? The picture of the rumored Titan class Scorponok?
I don't. Well, right now it's just avatars. But I have seen it. As a matter of fact, yes, I have. I saw it on I believe it was Transformers and Such group page this morning.
Yep. Yeah.
Honestly, he looks amazing. But the one that really caught my attention was the repaint of Wheeljack into exhaust.
Oh yeah. I was drooling over the Skylinks myself. And you know how it does separate, and the lower half becomes sort of a rocket base pad. Did you guys see that too? That looked awesome.
Sure did.
I didn't even notice the exhaust because I was too busy looking at the top two. But that's awesome. I don't have an exhaust in my collection, and I try and only keep one of a character. So a repaint as exhaust is a great way for me to buy that toy, have an excuse to buy that Wheeljack.
Yeah, I can't remember the last time we've had an exhaust.
Masterpiece.
Yeah.
They repainted MP20 or MP12, whatever that Wheeljack was, into exhaust.
Yeah. And of course, this one won't have like the Marlboro logo and all that stuff.
No, it won't.
That color scheme.
It won't, but I'm pretty sure Toy Hacks will have you covered if you want that Marlboro cigarette pack design on that car.
Yeah, and they do great work. The thing that interests me about Scorponok the most is I'm trying to, like, this picture's so small, but I've been spending a lot of time today trying to figure out how much of the Metroplex / Fort Max molding it uses. Because it seems like the way the in city mode the layout is, it could be using some of the same joints, which would be a little disappointing because I feel like Trypticon and then Omega Supreme did such a better job just being like more sturdy toys. But maybe that's just they just have to be using that layout for Scorponok, and the tooling is all new.
Yeah, Scorponok looks very. The city mode looked very G1 to me, like G1 toy to me.
Mm-hmm.
But I will definitely agree. It did look like maybe they reused some of Trypticon's inner skeleton somewhere for the city mode.
Yeah, which I would be totally fine with. I think like Trypticon is a super sturdy toy.
It is. It really is. I only
definitely
have a Predaking and Trypticon for Titans, and I got to tell you, I was impressed with both of them, especially Trypticon. I love both of them, but Trypticon is so solid. I mean, when he's together, he's together. Of course, you know, I did the hip fix that everybody else did, you know, since I didn't want no broken springs or parts in there. So, but from what I've seen, you know, I couldn't really tell what bones it shares with either, you know, Metroplex or anyone else. Maybe a bit of Trypticon.
That's why I said like that, because if you look at the center section of that city mode, it looks like it's got it has a very similar arch in that I guess doorway or something, if you will, like on the ramp.
You mean it could be like Trypticon's back and tail? I could see that.
Yeah, and that's the only part where it looked similar to me. Everything else looked pretty new mold wise, new sculpt and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
I'm super excited. It'll be the first. I haven't bought a. I guess I got Triptychon on sale, but Scorponok I think might be a Titan class figure that I pick up new just because I've wanted a Scorponok in my collection for so long, and I was never happy with like the Energon repaints or any of those. So I'm super excited about this guy coming out later this year.
oh, definitely, same here. As soon as I've held off, a buddy of mine owns a toy store, and he always gets a G1 in. Every time he gets it in, he always calls me and says, "Hey, input, I got a G1 Scorponok in. Do you want it?" And I always pass because I knew eventually this would come. This Titan class Scorponok, and here we are. I'm only 5 months away, 6 months away, possibly from getting that Titan class one.
Yeah,
And
that looks awesome. That, and then like Bill, you mentioned Skylinks. I have the Combiner Wars Skylinks, and I was pretty fine with it. I like the toy. I know that it didn't like separate or do any of the traditional Skylink stuff, but I just liked the design and I liked the size and stuff. But I mean, Skylink seems like such a good fit for a Commander class figure, and this seems like I'm trying to see into his neck. It looks like he's got a couple different joints maybe in the neck that might swivel. The knees and legs look decently articulated. If there's a lynx head in there, I'm gonna freak out.
Me too. It's not really clear in the picture if he does or not, because the pictures I saw is just him and as Skylinks and with the articulated neck and tail and of course his legs and whatnot, and looks like he has a cannon in his mouth that looks like it may articulate in some way. But then they show it's separated where the shuttle is on his base mode, I guess, but they don't show it as the actual links. Anyway, I didn't see any images of the actual links. Did you guys?
No.
But I would imagine that base turns into a links part, to be honest.
Yeah, I think they've gotten like the Transformers design team has gotten really good lately about like even if they don't officially document it, like Refractor, they have that extra stuff that the G1 like the diehard fans love to find out about, even if it's not like in the actual instructions.
Definitely.
Yeah, so I'm excited. I'm also excited. I would love to get my hands on Ironworks because I've always been a big fan of the little bot. I don't know, Micromasters, Target Masters, the Micromaster transports and bases. I love them all. I don't know what it is, but you give me a Legends class or smaller Transformer toy, and I'm actually really happy with just that scale, that small scale, especially when you put them next to like the big Titan classes because they work better that way. They work better, and I don't know what it is. I just love little bots, and to see something like that, and you can attach it to Omega, which sadly I don't have. I had to make a choice, Jetfire or Omega, and I took Jetfire. I
don't think anything wrong with that. Jetfire is such an awesome toy.
Yeah, and I'm excited for that Ironworks more than I probably am for actually Skylinks, and I'm a bigger fan of Skylinks than I am Micromasters. But I gotta tell you, Ironworks. Now, if they do Ironworks, what else is coming down the chain? Could we see some other of those Micromaster bases or transports? That would be awesome. Maybe even an updated Star Convoy. Not that Power of the Primes retooled or recolored.
Oh, but like a dedicated, that'd be cool. Well, so I haven't seen any of those in person yet, but from what I understand, is it true that the Micromaster base spots like Ironworks, he's essentially a weaponizer like Brunt and Six Gun, where he splits apart and stuff, and he can configure him? I think that's a great play pattern. I'm someone that I think that the pinnacle of Transformers play pattern design was hit in Titan's Return, where they made every single size class interact with the Titan Masters in some way. And Earthrise, to me, kind of seems like they're going back to that sort of integration. Like every size class is going to play around with these Battle Masters in different ways, or the Micro Masters in different ways. And that's got me really excited.
Yeah, same here. I felt like Power of the Primes was a step backwards from Titans Return and Combiner Wars, and then Siege just kind of jumped over the finish line, and they just never stopped with Earthrise and everything else. It just seems like it's full steam ahead for all of this stuff, and I'm really excited about it. I really am.
Yeah, it looks really awesome.
And I'm even coming around. There's a few people in chat, and Ninja Bill, he knows I've said there are certain characters that in Earthrise I could definitely pass on, but those characters I've said that I would pass on, they're starting to warm up to me, and I'm going, yeah, I might grab that hoist.
I'm the same way.
See, now I'm the opposite. I want a hoist. I want a hoist. I want grapple. I want Inferno from that grapple. I even maybe want a hauler from that grapple. Okay, and I could take or leave a hauler, but
No, that mold Grapple's mold looks amazing. Like that, I've got a Masterpiece Artfire, and then I've got the Mastermind Creations hauler. But I don't have a grapple in my collection. I've got my Inferno is the classics one, which I still like. But that generation's the Earthrise grapple looks like they took Masterpiece and they said, okay, let's do this, but let's give it a $30 budget instead of a $100 and whatever dollar budget. Which
definitely
it looks awesome.
Definitely, and I've called Earthrise Baby Masterpiece and Siege Baby Masterpiece figures.
Yeah,
for about a year now. And I have to agree with that. And I think, honestly, Grapple, I really hope that Hasbro Pulse repaints that thing in an art fire and gives them 2 target masters and just goes all out for that.
Yeah. Like a Generation Selects figure. I think that gets some easy repaints. Art fire and hauler I could see as Generation Selects.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And then,
I could take or leave. I could take or leave hauler, but Artfire would be nice, and I definitely want an Inferno from that mold. I definitely want it. Inferno's one. I like fire trucks. I'm putting that out.
Yeah. I can't imagine a world where we don't get Inferno Wave 2 or 3.
Yeah,
for sure.
And then the other thing that, like you mentioned, you came around on Hoist. I wasn't going to get Hoist. I was happy with the Hoist in my collection, which was a Hunt for the Decepticons Hoist. I just put out a video a couple weeks ago on that Hoist because I was like, I'm getting tempted by this new one. Maybe I should reassess my love for the one I have.
Right. Now, see that Hunt for the Decepticons one that's the slight retool and recolor of the Strong Arm. And Strong Arm, and I actually really liked that mold. So that was a mold I always looked for, and I couldn't find that Hoist version. So me getting a Hoist in this new line, I think because I would love to see my G1 bots, updated G1 bots on a shelf, and Hoist would just add to it. So too with a Trailbreaker. This Combiner Wars, I've seen images of the Combiner Wars, Trailbreaker and Hoist, and they just didn't fit the bill. And this one, sure, there's all that hollow space and yada yada, whatever people are talking about. I won't care about that. I'll just have a Hoist in my collection again.
Yeah, it might be contrarian, but it sounds weird, but I like the hollow space because of the way they use it. Like Ironhide from Siege has his hollow spaces, but they use it to make the figure bigger than what, a $20 budget would allow. So I'm like, from a design perspective, the fact that he costs the same amount of money as Prowl, like they weigh roughly the same, but they're definitely different sizes, is like, it's just an interesting bit of design that I appreciate.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. And honestly, I think a lot of the hollowness gets judged harshly, a little too harshly, because a lot of that hollowness is there because of alt mode transformation.
Mm-hmm.
Because they've got like you said, a $20 budget, and they've got a parts limit as well that they have to squeeze out of, squeeze all this stuff into that toy. And so there's going to be hollow bits. There's not going to be anything that fills those off that figure or anything else. So I wholeheartedly agree with you that the hollowness, I'm okay with it. It is what it is to me. And I'm totally okay.
Now, because you guys are, I'll admit, I'm not like I didn't grow up with G1. That I was a Beast Wars generation kid.
Mhm.
Do you guys? You mentioned you're like you want your G1 like wave of guys. Do you have a list of who's missing? Because I don't know off the top of my head. Like using kind of maybe since Combiner Wars, Titan Return, Power of the Primes, Siege, and now Earthrise. Who's left to fill out that collection?
Oh,
There's quite a bit. There's a lot of stuff from Super God Master Force that I would like to get. I know we got like Fangry and we got a bunch of those guys like the Headmaster Juniors, but we didn't get the bodies for them. I would love to see.
Yeah.
I'd love to
Yeah.
see a deluxe class Fangry and Horrible and a Ghost Shooter, an actual Headmaster Ghost Shooter, a deluxe Minerva,
Cab.
an evolution non-masterpiece gimmick of Star Saber. That'd be awesome.
Yes. I would love. I was just about to mention Victory Leo and Star Saber would be an excellent addition to the Commander class.
Oh yeah.
Size. I really, and that's the only way I can see Star Saber and Victory Leo coming into the Generations Hashtag, sizes non-MP stuff is through a Commander class, because the toy itself has always been big. Star Saber's always been a big toy. So too should the retail version, I guess is what we should call it. The I honestly can't see him as a proper leader class, or what they call a leader class now. I think that would be really disappointing. I think it'd be a lot of hearts forming if the
And I'll say this: I'm not one for scale. I don't care about scale. I think everyone knows that by now. But Star Saber, if they did say an Earthrise Star Saber, or a Wave or a Line 3 Star Saber, whatever they would call Line 3 for War for Cybertron, whatever, he would have to be as big as a Combiner Wars Combiner, because that's how big Star Saber is. So you would have to put him roughly at that, like Power of the Primes leader size for it to really work in that line.
Yeah, that would be a cool one. I feel like we've got a couple rumors about Star Saber coming down the line eventually. So hopefully he is part of the War for Cybertron trilogy. I think that'd be a really great addition.
I know there's a third party of was it Iron Trans is doing a very G1 like Victory Leo, and I think they've either done a Star Saber or
the Star Saber. Their Star Saber is in the final prototype phase. There's pictures of it now. That one's slightly stylized and slightly bigger than the Masterpiece Star Saber. But I think it looks great, NinjaBill. I think it looks really good, and it's hyper articulated too.
Yeah. I've done some reading up on it. You guys know how I feel about third party, but I got to tell you, man, that thing is changing my mind. The more I looked at it, it's changing. I'm like, yeah, I'd buy that.
Hey, man, as long as we never get anything IDW Star Saber ever again, I'm good.
Yes, exactly. See, that's my problem with their version, because it has that slightly IDW-esque stylization on that Star Saber. I could see it in like some of the wingtips, how they folded up, And,
are they the ones that did that, or was that someone was doing like an actual IDW Star Saber? Was that MMC maybe was looking at doing one of those?
They did one.
No, they did.
Somebody Fans Project, I think, or Fans Hobby, or Fans Toys, I think.
No, it wasn't Fans Toys. I think it was Fans Hobby that did it, because they also did a Death Source as well. An IDW Death Source. It might have been MMC. I would put money on that it was MMC.
I just know I'm not a fan of it. Don't want.
Yeah. Well, that's the nice thing, right? Something big and expensive comes out, and you can easily say, "Not this time."
Well,
it's just not my cup of tea.
Yeah.
Pack in chat says Planet X did it, and he's absolutely right, because they were doing the IDW and War for Cybertron stuff for
Gotcha. Pack was also saying earlier about he's tired of the G1. He wants new characters. I kind of feel him there. Like I'm glad we're getting all these cool G1 characters, but I'll admit that for a while I was watching like the cartoons that were coming out, Prime and then Robots in Disguise, and I love that in Generations we got the G1 characters, but then in the new cartoons we'd get new characters, like in Robots in Disguise we got the Pack, which I love those designs. And that's one thing for me, like that's been not disappointing, but maybe just made Cyberverse less interesting, is that that line's design is so G1 oriented. I don't feel like there's much to pull me into Cyberverse toys versus Generations. I'd love if they had kept doing weird stuff in that line.
Well, and if I'm not mistaken, I've been reading, and it's the honesty of these posts is, I'm not sure how genuine it is, but there's talks of a Beast Wars CG movie in the movie Bayverse style type of movie coming. And as much as I would love to see that, and I would probably watch it, I'll be honest, I give it a watch. I'm I'm not sure it's what fans are expecting. I think because the Beast Wars fans are almost as rabid as the G1 fans are. Not to say put that in a negative connotation.
We are passionate.
We are passionate. Yes, exactly. And I'm not sure. I think we Input talked about this in his own live stream yesterday, and I'm with him on that. That if we saw something, more than likely what we'll see, if we get new toys out of this, we would see an animated CG or CG type show before we actually have, some solid toys. But there again, because of it's going to be a live action CG movie, we could probably see toys out as soon as the end of the year or in a couple of years, 2021. So.
Yeah, definitely. I think honestly, if they do, what Pac was also saying in chat is that they need to reach out to the larger Transformer multiverse, and I agree with that. And I think honestly, I know people really want Beast Wars to be the third line for War for Cybertron,
but I doubt it.
I doubt it will be. But what I would honestly love to see is that the Unicron, this is a Unicron trilogy because the War for Cybertron Unicron that got funded and all that stuff is coming. And I really hope that we have the three lines. So we have Siege, Earthrise, and then, Fall of Cybertron, whatever the third line will be. And then after that, we get something Beast Wars. So we can start getting Cybertronian Beast War characters. So we can get Pterosaur as like a Tetrajet. Or not necessarily a Tetrajet, but like a Cybertronian jet. And we get Optimus Primal as some kind of Cybertronian tank or something. And then we can have that. And then the second line could be like a repeat of Earthrise, where they get their traditional Beast Wars modes. And then just kind of, go from there. And then like wave 3 could be Transmetals, so on and so forth. And just kind of do it that way. Like give that evolution, the old school G1 evolution from G1 to Beast Wars, redo that. And I think that'd be really cool. But just start with them on Cybertron and give some Cybertronian modes to these guys.
Yeah, that would be interesting. I'm curious. I mean, Hasbro is a company that, like most companies, they're there. They might be a little on, just in terms of their decision making, on the conservative side, not like in political terms, but in that they're not going to make a change unless there's like an immediate need to make a change. When Beast Wars first came out, Beast Wars only happened because G1 was failing. Like they didn't have any more ideas. People weren't buying toys. G2 wasn't selling stuff. Machine Wars wasn't selling stuff. They're like, we got to do something weird. And the guys at Kenner came and said, hey, we have this idea for robot animals. And they're like, let's do that as Transformers. I don't know that and I love Beast Wars. I don't know that we'll get a dedicated like big Beast Wars line unless something really terrible was happening just in terms of the Transformers toy franchise. I think it's going too strong to have that sort of like radical change in the next near future, unfortunately.
I can agree with that. I can actually, I can get behind that idea too.
I agree. It's just as a fan, as a Transformers fan overall, I'm not a G1 or a Beast Wars Soul guy or anything else. Like, I love Transformers.
Yeah.
And as a Transformers fan, that's just me, thinking out loud, doing wishful thinking.
Hopefully we get more variety of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, in all honesty, for me, I really have my fingers crossed for an Earthrise Megatron that is an F-22 Raptor based on his Machine Wars mold. I think that's killer.
So cool.
Hey, Van Geek, how's it going?
Hey, so I have to go eat dinner with my family. So I won't be able to stay. But I wanted to jump in to tell everyone that at Amazon.com, the Earthrise Micromasters are now in stock.
Oh, dang.
Wow.
So if you want to add the latest Micromasters, Amazon.com has them in stock and ready to ship.
Oh,
So
awesome.
guys, I can say with all honesty, the Transformers Earthrise toy line is finally here.
Nice. I still haven't finished out Siege. I still have the duo. I can't remember their name. Is it Battle Squad?
The Battle Patrol, yeah.
The
Battle Squad, yeah.
The ones that
Direct
combine.
Hit.
I still
Direct
gotta
Hit and
figure
Power
out
Punch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those guys.
I still
and
need
then,
one of the Battle Masters, Singe.
Yeah, Singe and Rung are the two.
Yeah.
Those three toys I still haven't picked up from Siege. Just haven't shown up locally.
Singe is the last one I need. Then I'll be complete with Siege.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can't find the Rat Bat pack. Who is that? Rumble and Rat Bat, and I can't find the Power Punch and that Power Master 2 pack. I can't find that at all. So, and then with Earthrise hitting, I doubt I will find it.
Mm-hmm.
Shit, I've still got Wave 2 of Siege on the shelves. I'm not even worried about finding Earthrise. I won't worry about finding Earthrise toys until I've at least seen Wave 3 or 4 of Siege on a shelf, for crying out loud.
Yeah. I'm kind of glad Amazon canceled my pre-order for Optimus Prime, because today someone found in a database photos of Skylynx and Scorponok.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were talking about that right before you got in, man. They look so good.
Yeah, I knew Skylynx was going to be the next Commander class figure. I mean, it's the character that makes the most sense.
Yeah, that one's awesome.
I'll say this. Okay, I know I'm going to be hated on, and I know I'm about to get booted from the live stream, and I'm about to lose like all my subscriber base and everything else. But Skylynx is a huge disappointment for me for a Commander class. Not because I think it looks bad. I think he looks phenomenal. And for anybody who was wanting a new Skylynx, I am so happy for you. But I feel like to get another Skylynx after the Combiner Wars Skylynx is too soon, because there are other Commander size characters that could have been introduced into this line. Like I said, like I've been saying, I've been shouting it from the mountaintops while standing on a milk carton or a milk crate, that Tidal Wave, an Armada Tidal Wave Commander class should be the first thing that was done.
Yeah.
Oh, that would have been sweet. I would love a Tidal Wave figure. I have they did was it a Titan's Return like box set Tidal Wave?
Yeah, they did. I think it was War on Velocitron or Siege on Velocitron or something like that.
And like he's a nice spot filler and he looks cool, but I would absolutely swap him out if we get a Combiner Tidal Wave or a Commander Tidal Wave in the future.
Oh yeah, I would. Yeah, I didn't much care for the broadside repaint for Tidal Wave. It didn't fit. He wasn't a big enough toy. Some things I care about scale a lot about. Tidal Wave is one of those that I think should be a Commander class or even a Titan class. He could very well go either way for those two size classes. He very well could fit in either way, but as a Voyager, it didn't cut the mustard.
Well, I gotta go, guys. Thank you so much for the few seconds I was here, and hope you take care. Thank you, NinjaBill, for letting me in, and for those of you guys interested in getting them, the Earthrise Micromasters are in stock at Amazon. So, thank you guys so much, and Transform and Roll Out. And I hope I'll see you guys all on Autocorrect Primer's channel tomorrow night, because tomorrow night on his channel I am going to unbox Siege Omega Supreme.
Oh,
nice.
Have fun with that. You got to move that camera a little ways back.
Yep. Take care. Bye.
Hey, welcome in, Adamantium Matrix.
Hey, Adamantium Matrix, welcome.
Hey, how's it
Welcome,
going?
Neuro and Pack and everybody else I've gotten to welcome in.
But yeah, I mean, like I said, I think Skylinks is just a little too soon. I don't have anything against the Combiner Wars Skylinks either, and I think, and in I don't replace figures. I've got I don't know how many prowls and blue streaks at this point, but yeah, Combiner Wars Skylinks was damn near perfect for me for Skylinks. So I know people are gonna hate me for that, but
No, I mean, I don't know about perfect, but I like that Skylinks figure. Like, I think it's a lot of fun. I've had fun with it. I really like the Combiner Wars gimmick. So the mixing and matching with limbs, like, it didn't bother me that he was not an official original Combiner. I thought it was a cool way to get him into the toy line.
See, I like him
Definitely.
too. Now, he was a gift from our guest here, Adamantium Matrix, who's in the chat. He got me that Skylinks, and I love him. See, I never owned the G1, but I've always loved, Commander Modesty as a character, and as Springer liked to call him. And I always wanted one, and then Adamantium Matrix sent me one, and I was like, I love this toy, and I still do. I've got him right here beside me right now as we speak. I've been playing with him this whole time because I love this guy. I love this guy, but
Yeah.
I also want a new Commander class because I do want a separate Lynx toy.
Mhm.
I just don't, I want the Sky Lynx portion. I want the link or the Lynx, in the sky, and I want to separate the shuttle and the transport section. And I talked about how I think that base idea is cool. From what I've seen, I saw small images, not very large images. So, from what I can make out, I didn't see a Lynx mode, but it very well could exist as input put out. So.
Well, Nero in chat is dropping some rumors in the chat. He says Leader Generation 2 Megatron confirmed for Earthrise and Leader Double Dealer. I would, as a G2 fanatic, I love the fact that G2 Megs is making a comeback for
I'm
Earthrise.
pretty sure G2 Megatron was my first Transformer toy.
Really?
That would be, and I collect, like, I have weird rules about my collection, but I have multiple Megatrons because I pretend they're different characters. G2 Megatron as a leader class figure would be amazing. I've enjoyed the Siege leaders. I don't have complaints about them the way they are. Like, people don't seem to like the add-on parts as much as I do. But G2 Megatron, like, I hope he's got a nice, big, beefy bot mode.
So here's my question with that. With the way they've been doing leaders, I'm looking at my G2 Megatron, the big green purple tank.
Mhm.
Yep.
And I'm not seeing the way that because it's a tank and it's such a simple transformation. I'm not seeing anywhere on that figure where they could do any kind of like add-on anything.
Yeah.
So if it's a leader class, are they going back to the old leader style size-wise for that Megatron?
Maybe. I mean, I guess, right, what we've seen for Leader Optimus Prime, he doesn't really have add-on parts. He just has the trailer, right?
Right.
So yeah, that would be interesting because either Leader class Megatron would be a lot bigger than Optimus, or they'd have to pack him in with like a bunch of extra stuff to make up for the trailer and keep him. Like, would they make an Optimus and a Megatron that are in the same size class that don't see eye to eye?
I
Unless
don't know.
unless they made them leader class, which would be, I guess, like Ultra Magnus size for the Siege. Ultra Magnus size. Make him a little bit bigger than Optimus Prime, but not towering over him.
Yeah, maybe. But I would love a G2 Megatron. I have that. Takara did the Archforce Megatron repaint out of the Titans Return Blitzwing mold. I just can't get enough colorful Megatrons in my life, so I'm all for a G2 Megs.
Definitely.
Oh yeah, I own the G2 Megs, and I also own the smaller purple and I don't know, sort
That-
of lavender,
Was it the
bluish one.
action
I don't know.
hero? Yeah.
Yeah. And I love them both, but I don't see them doing anything more than a Voyager scale with that G2 Megs, because the prime that's coming out in Earthrise is a Voyager scale, only they're calling it Leader because of the trailer. So with Megatron, I doubt. I don't see how they could really do a bigger one unless they make it a commander class and sell it, that way. And I doubt they'll do that.
We were talking about third-party figures earlier. One that surprised me that we haven't gotten yet is a masterpiece scale G2 Megatron. Fans Hobby came out with, what was that figure, Gunfighter, where it was their Laser Optimus Prime. I'm really
Right.
surprised we haven't seen a Megatron to go along with that at some point.
I'm really surprised too, to be 100% honest, with everything Megatron wise that's been out there. They even did Generation Toys even pretty much upscaled that was it the Thrilling 30 Stealth Bomber Megatron.
Mhm.
But yeah, you're absolutely right. I don't understand why we haven't gotten a G2 masterpiece tank from anybody.
Yeah, because you'd think it would be like, I don't think the transformation needs to be any more complicated than it is. And you give maybe some alternate like faces and head swap stuff so you can look more like the Marvel comic if you want to, and then just stuff as much articulation in that thing as you can. And like a lot of people would be, I think, really happy with that.
Oh,
Well,
definitely.
In that interview Kato had with I forget his name, from MMC. The guy said that they troll the forums, various forums and whatnot, and when they see somebody really talking about some character, that's the ones they're more than likely to do. So my answer to that, to what you're saying, is that people simply, there isn't a demand for it, so that's why they haven't done it.
We got to start campaigning.
Yeah, we need to start a writing letter campaign or something, man, to get that eggs done. For sure.
So that would be my answer to that. The reason why we haven't seen one is because just not enough people are talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's not a lot of G2 love anyway, and honestly, I'm surprised Fans Hobby did that G2 Prime. I mean, they did get a repaint out of it with Scourge, RID Scourge. But yeah, I have to agree that there's only one other repaint that they could do. They could do that E-Hobby Ultra Magnus, and then that's it. But I'm really surprised there's nothing that Fans Hobby has done at all. Because that Laser Prime, that Masterpiece Laser Prime, just came out of nowhere. It's just a left field release.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I said, I'm really surprised they didn't continue with that, because there's a lot of untapped potential. And I think what a lot of people do now is they'll sit on a figure and say, okay, I'll get that whenever that G2 Megs comes out. Because now, like Make Toys, they haven't finished their Headmasters, and people have a chrome dome and a hard head, and that's it. They want the rest of the team, but they can't get it because no one's making it, and that's kind of irritating. So now people are just saying, okay, instead of buying that G2 Prime, I'll wait for a G2 Prime and a G2 Megatron, and I'll scoop them both up at the same time. And I think that's what's hurting a lot of the stuff too.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I agree.
And Pack in chat says G2 reinvented is one of my favorite things being done for sure. Yeah, I gotta agree, man. I think if they went to, Pack, I gotta say this, man. In chat so far, you've said a lot of things that I agree with. I really think me and you really strike the same chord, right? Like strike the same note, kind of thing. That in the sense that I want them to dig deeper into their well than here's a G2 thing, right? Like when that unreleased G2 Hero Megatron, that green and white one that we got for Siege and that Siege tank, beautiful. I love that figure. I love the history behind that figure. The Titan Return RC, love it. It's history that we never got. So let's start digging in and let's start pulling stuff out of the well, man. Let's start digging into those KB Toy exclusives from the late 90s. And let's update those. Let's start, like I said earlier in the stream, let's get that Art Fire. That should be the first Hasbro Pulse thing for that for Earthrise. Artfire.
I'm surprised
Done.
we haven't seen an auto trooper from Prowl mode in selects.
Oh, definitely. See, there you go. Let's start digging in. Let's just start reaching to the bag of character goodies and stuff. So,
Yeah,
what's up,
Crimson. Yeah, I'm really shocked that we did not get an auto trooper from Takara in selects line. I've been expecting to see one now for almost a year now, and nothing. And auto trooper is really popular over there, so the fact that there hasn't been one has kind of shocked me. I'd be like, really?
Yeah, that's one that I'm wondering. Maybe they're waiting to do another version of the Datsun body, because that Prowl mold, I like that mold. I think Prowl out of all of them wears it the worst, but the other color schemes are great. But it is one that out of the vehicle modes from Siege, it feels like one of the more alien cars. Whereas Sideswipe feels like he could just be on Earth. I wonder if maybe we're gonna see another Datsun toy in whatever comes after Earthrise, and that's when we might see them go really nuts with the repaints the way they did with the Seekers.
Oh, definitely, that could be it. And honestly, with that Siege, the Siege Prowl barricade mold, that thing is so easy to retool and make it look more like a 280Z.
Yeah, just show it a little differently.
Yeah, exactly. And then you could definitely start getting auto troopers and stuff that way for sure.
Well, I wonder if that Earthrise smokescreen is going to be an Earth version of smokescreen itself from the Datsun or from the Praxis mold, or if they're going to go with the G2 smokescreen that came with Dreadwing.
Is there an Earthrise smokescreen?
There's supposed to be, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
But we've never seen any pictures.
Isn't it a Generation Selects? Isn't smokescreen
no, the Siege one is Generation Selects, but the Earthrise is not. It's going to be a regular retail release.
Oh, I hadn't heard that. That's interesting.
That's disappointing.
Yeah, it does feel a little soon, but maybe you might be right. Maybe that's what they end up doing is here's the retool now instead of waiting a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. That's what it sounds like they're doing. I mean, there's two schools of thought to that in the sense that of holy crap, yeah, I get smokescreen in that, and I missed out on the Hasbro Pulse one. Awesome, yes. But then there's the other sense that, man, I just got that mold. I just got that figure. That figure just came out. Why are they trying to jump back into my pocket again for that same character that's not even... And truth be told, it's really hard. I know there are people out there who only collect that one. They have one variation of each character, so they'll replace their old Prowl with a new Prowl kind of thing. There's a lot of people out there keeping that Generations Prowl Datsun mold and just skipping over the Siege stuff. And I feel like this is giving them another reason. So this is the flip side of that coin, right? So it's disappointing because that's character spot could have been taken by somebody else, and those Siege Datsun molds, I guess if you want to call them Datsun molds, are so Earth inspired anyway because they're not going to go out and give you a $20 deluxe with a Nissan badge on it because that deluxe would end up being $100, right? So it's going to be inspired by Nissan, right? So why not let that kind of double as both and be done with it? Because most of us display our stuff in bot mode anyway.
It's true.
Well, I remember there was a big deal with vehicle mode being displayed, with the Classics line, and the sales weren't as high as Hasbro had expected they would be for older characters. And then they started putting them in robot mode, and all of a sudden Transformers started flying off the shelves. And it's every time you put them in their alternate mode, even though that's how it was back in Generation 1, the reason why that worked well is because those were real cars. But now with licensing and everything else, they can't be real cars. So those aren't a selling point anymore. It's the robot.
Awful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep, the robot is your selling point. And so when they did that, then all of a sudden they started selling again. And the alt mode just happens to be just a part of the gimmick altogether.
And Pack in chat says, I think this is a really good point. He says, I think so many people get caught up in only the new stuff. Getting older figs sprinkled in with new stuff really brings out the enjoyment.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. I could agree with that.
Yeah. That
Well,
works.
yeah. Look at the fact that they're reissuing G1 toys at Walmart. Right alongside the current line. That
Yeah.
speaks to that very notion.
100%.
Yep. That speaks.
Gentlemen, I do have to run. Dinner is ready. This has been a blast. Ninja Bill, thanks for bringing me on, man, and thanks Arbitrary Hero, Crimson, everyone in chat. I hate to dash.
You got to do what you got to do.
Yeah. You got to eat that Energon, man.
Yeah, definitely. Well, don't you drink Energon? I think that's. I don't know. At least that's what
if it's an Energon goodie, you can chew it.
Oh yeah, but I was thinking more of the cartoon where Megatron's drinking it on that rock. He's just
when they all get wasted.
Or Transformers Prime, where he just shoves it inside his chest. I mean, hey, that works too.
And as always, I will borrow something from Kato and say, if you guys are not subscribed to anybody in chat, just click on their channel and hit that subscribe button for them. So, guys, I will see you next round. And as I said, Ninja Bill, Arbitrary Hero, Crimson Raptors, thank you guys for having me. And I will see you next time. So,
peace, man. Have a good night. Have a good dinner.
Yeah. Thanks for chatting. Thanks so much.
No problem. Night, gentlemen. And
again, as Input pointed out, guys, make sure to check out all of our channels from the Crimson Raptors, Input, TF Geek, who was here earlier, and definitely go check out Arbitrary Hero if you are not familiar with his channel. Extremely good content. Some of the best content I found on YouTube exists right there on his channel, their channel, really. And yeah.
Yeah, you're going to get me in trouble if you keep saying his channel.
I can just see the outrage now.
Yeah. Nate's typing up an angry text message as we speak, I'm sure.
They're good. They're a great bunch. And once again, just to reiterate what at the beginning of the show for people who are joined in later, once again, tell us about the Extra Life Challenge, what it is, and how you got started in it.
Yeah, absolutely. So Extra Life is a way to raise money for your local children's hospital. If they're a member of the Children's Miracle Network, you could, if you choose to, set up a team and raise money. It doesn't cost you, I think it costs you like $20 to set up your team. And then 100% of the money you raise goes to either the Children's Miracle Network of hospitals or to a hospital that you designate. So for us, we all live in Cincinnati. We picked the Cincinnati Children's Hospital. And it started out last year just because we had the channel. We figured let's try and do something good with it. And essentially you fundraise however you want, whether it's through live streams or raffles or events, giveaways. Like I'm really into the Transformers TCG. I'm going to be trying to host a tournament in the near future where like $5 of every entry fee goes towards the fundraiser. We're doing giveaways, things like that. And the big push for us as a team, everyone does it differently, but for us will be between July and November. And then November 7th, we stream for 24 hours straight to hit our goal. This year, we pushed it up. Our goal last year was $3,000, which we crushed. This year, we're going for $5,000 raised. And it's usually a team of, for us, it's right now, I think it's 4 of us. It might be 5 or more raising money. And then there's probably like 10 or 12 of us that'll be playing games and doing stuff during the 24-hour live stream.
Awesome. Just that's awesome. And one of the reasons why I really wanted you, in general, I wanted you to join the show in general, but I really respect, it's something I never thought of doing, and I needed to give you guys a shout out for what you're doing. And the content, watching it is fantastic. They just had one where they were playing Resident. Hannah was playing Resident Evil. I'll name drop her there, and now she doesn't have to write the mean letter to me. and it's a great show, and I highly suggest everyone check it out. So onwards and upwards. Crimson Raptors, welcome to the show once again. And what's new for you?
Well, I got Siege Red Wing, and pretty stoked to have that figure because Target finally restocked Red Wing. I kind of felt like it was going to happen because there was so much demand still around for it, and so many people were buying multiple and just reselling them on eBay and everywhere else for ridiculous prices. Amazon Marketplace included, and but it seemed like it wasn't going to happen before Christmas, and then it happened right after the New Year, and so glad to have gotten Red Wing. Now, I consider Red Wing a girl, not because of the time of the month situation, but also because of that there's no fiction or lore for Red Wing. There's only seeing a panel here, a panel there, no actual speaking roles for Red Wing. And even though it was miscommunication between like FunPub and everywhere else, like for my purposes, for my animation that I have for Transformer Siege, is that's going to be another female to be alongside with Slipstream, because I think, you know, might as well have a Red Wing, have a Seeker that we have no information for, and comes with a smirk. Now, Thundercracker comes with a smirk, but we all know who Thundercracker is. But I felt like if it came with a smirk and Slipstream came with a smirk as well in the Takara Legends release, I'm like, you know, maybe that might be a girl. So I just fly in the face of TF Winky and say, no, Red Wing's a girl for my purposes. But it's 2020. They can be whatever they want, right?
Yeah, I love that they did Red Wing. Like, it's such an out there repaint for them to come out. Even if it's a Target exclusive, it's still like a retail figure, which is incredible. My fingers are crossed for Earthrise. Red Wing is the weird, obscure repaint that allowed me to get that mold because I had kind of versions of all the other characters. My fingers are crossed for Earthrise that we get the main three Seekers, which I don't care about, the cone heads, which I already have, but then they use the molds to give us maybe something else that's weird, like a nacelle, just something really left field again. So I can be like, oh, I don't have that character yet. Let me buy the toy in those colors.
And we had nacelle in Transformers Collectors Club, wasn't it? Or was that a BotCon thing?
I think you're right. It was either Collectors Club or BotCon. It was just whatever it was kind of out of my price range.
And I think by that time, like, the mold was so terrible, like loose joints and stuff everywhere. And I think that happened around the time they did the Generation 2 versions of Ramjet and Starscream. And I think that Starscream is notorious for having loose joints, but the Ramjet's not so bad. And then Takara or Hasbro, whoever, I forget, after they did Nacelle, they were like, look, we're not doing this anymore. Like, this mold's falling apart. And
from what I've seen in the pictures and stuff, this Earthrise, the Siege mold, I really like because it's Seekers in a very different way. But the Earthrise toys look like essentially those deluxe Seekers that you're talking about, just bigger, and you like their new molds, obviously, but it looks like a lot of the same design cues.
So when the 35th anniversary Prime and Megatron were shown for Siege, I was not impressed. And I was like, like, you know, they're the renders, and I was like, then I saw them in person. I'm like, these are amazing. This is the Megatron colors I wanted. This Prime does look like he just came out of the cartoon. Like, it's really, really cool. I never noticed that he does have that white waist because I had the G1 or the G2 toy. So I considered that was chrome, and chrome equates white, or, you know, kind of a gray color there in the show. So I never really thought that, it really is a white color. That's really kind of cool to see that in toy form. So this Earthrise Starscream, I've not been impressed because of the fact that it does look like an upscaled Classic Seeker, which I love the Classic Seeker, right? I got a ton of them. But I'm not sold on it, and I feel like it's going to be one of those where I'm going to see it in package. It may change my mind, but I'm going to have to wait and see. You know? But it's the right size, and that's, you know, awesome. But again, we're like, I almost feel like I'm on that precipice of Siege, or not Siege, Seeker. What do you call it?
Fatigue.
Huh?
Fatigue.
Yeah, Seeker fatigue. I'm almost on that precipice of it. Some of our other friends that are in live streams and other shows and other channels, like they've kind of already reached that point, and I'm just like, Red Wing was my grail. I get the grail, and then I'm like, okay, but now we're getting the Earth mode. So now it's like, well, now I want the Coneheads 100%, getting those three. But I don't know if I could get all three of those again, but in an Earth mode, and then they're going to look right with everything else. So I don't know. I could be sold.
See,
I could be bought.
For me, I just. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
No, that's fine. I was done.
No, for me, I just want them. I just want Thundercracker, Skywarp, and Starscream, right? And then I want Dirge, Ramjet, and Thrust, and that's it. I don't care about the orange or blue or
Those
gray
are the only
or
ones I
red.
care about.
Yeah, I could care less about any of them because they don't fill out my G1. Yes, they had maybe a one-shot appearance for all of maybe 3 seconds on a cartoon that does not equate to having an existing character in my mind. Okay? And literally, those Seekers, those Rainmakers, they appeared in the cartoon how many times and for how long? Honestly.
Yeah, just the one episode, I think.
Yeah. And then never seen or heard from again. And probably should have remained that way, in my opinion. But that's just me. Everybody else loves them, and that's fantastic. Adamantium Matrix is saying that he's going to get them all, and that's awesome. I'm just not with it. I never wanted Red Wing. I still don't want Red Wing. That said, my brother thought about getting him or her for me, and I was like, okay, awesome. And it does look great. I watched Cam's review on Red Wing and the Toy Hacks label set for Red Wing, and it's an impressive looking toy. I'll give that. I love the way the red pops on there. I dig it. Do I want it? No. Do I need another Red Wing coming out in the new, classic Seeker like look that the new Starscream will have? No, not really. Well, I don't know. Now that I think about it, that would look pretty dope. That would look pretty dope. Okay, depending on how they stylize, like stripes or whatever on those wings, that would look pretty dope. But I just really, really want a Ramjet, Dirge, and Thrust because we haven't really had any really decent representations of the Coneheads for quite some time.
Yeah, since the original classics, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we were definitely. I can understand why they didn't do those three in Siege, but I think with the F-15 alt mode in Earthrise, there's no need to do the Rainmakers again. They'll bring us the Coneheads, and then hopefully, knock on wood for my sake, they bring us one other weird repaint that I can pick up.
Yeah, well, they did give us the only time we've gotten some Coneheads in retail is like we got a Dirge in it was it Revenge of the Fallen or Reveal the Shield?
Yeah, Revenge of the Fallen that used that Harrier jet.
Yep, I have that one, and it's a great. I love the alt mode, and I like the robot mode, and really that's the only true Conehead we've gotten in a long time. The others were just remolds of Starscream all the time. But he was a unique mold and is a true Conehead, and that's why I bought that toy. Is because we don't get enough of them.
Mm-hmm.
I was done.
Yeah, I like the welcoming committee would be nice to have had too, and I don't know if they're going to have that. It seems like that'd be an easy one to do as a Generation Selects. Just if not individually, if it like in a 3-pack like that, or an Entertainment Earth exclusive. I know BDTS is kind of getting exclusive.
Stop.
Well, but the problem is Target was the only one that bought the Rainmakers. So business-wise, yes, we would love to have everything at retail, but business-wise, it's the retailers that say whether they're going to get a set or not. The Coneheads I could totally see being something that Walmart would want to get because they know who those are. Like they're going to know who the Coneheads are, and Hasbro can have an easier say, hey, they were in this cartoon, they were in that cartoon. So maybe Walmart might carry them rather than Target, or maybe they'll all fight over it, and then Hasbro will just make it a retail release. But it depends on kind of what happens there. But at least somewhere to get official welcoming committee would be really cool. Just the three, Bitstream, Hotlink, and who's the last one? I forget who the last one is. Sunstorm. That should be the one I should know the most of, because there's all kinds of fiction for Sunstorm. But that would be cool to have those three as a set in that same kind of packaging that the Raymakers did. I'm sorry, go ahead, Arbitrary Hero. You were saying something?
For the welcoming committee, would you prefer Siege molds or Earthrise molds?
100% want Siege molds. And then if they make us Earthrise molds down the line, I would totally get those as well.
Gotcha.
Because I want as many of those purple Hotlink ones as possible, because those are kind of your Air Warrior.
Yeah, that is a really good color scheme.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good troop builders.
Yep.
I would disagree, but again, as I stated before, I'm just, I don't know. Now that said, I would buy up anything that had Thrust like colors on them, because Thrust and Skywarp were my favorite of the Seekers, so that's why I really liked those the best. The rest, Starscream was just kind of He's a noisy, whiny asshole, and I didn't care for his character. Skyward, I liked his colors, and Thrust, I liked the way he looked. Those big turbo fans in his wings. And it was so unique from all the other 5 warriors they showed on the show, and that's why I really like him. Is the colors and the unique way he looks. So that's why I like him. And that's just the rest just don't do it for me.
Hey, Ninja Bill, Adamantium Matrix asks, what are you going to do when your Walmart closes down? How are you going to hunt for figures, he asked.
Fuck, I don't know.
Your Walmart closing down?
Yeah, it's closing down supposedly at the sometime in late 2020, this year. So
that's weird. It's been a long time since I've heard of a Walmart closing down.
Yeah, it's a small town. What can I say? It's a
There's
small
no
town.
Target? No Target nearby?
No, not that's. Oh, gee, I want to say.
What about a mall?
75 miles, somewhere around there.
Oh,
No. Actually, probably about 55 miles.
Man, that's crazy.
Oh yeah.
I've kind of given up on brick and mortar at this point. Hasbro Pulse has kept me happy enough that I don't want to spend the gas and time looking at brick and mortar stores.
What's really funny is there is I live in Oklahoma, in Tulsa, and there's a city to the kind of southeast of us that's called Broken Arrow, and Broken Arrow had this place called Vintage Toy Mall, and you go in and it is an incredible place. I really need to ask him if I can video log or vlog in it or something and kind of show you guys everything, because there's so much stuff there.
Oh,
We're talking like X-Men from like with the trading cards way back in the early 90s, like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Funko Pops, Transformers, G1, Beast Wars, Japanese releases. Like, it's all over the place with everything. And it's like a booth rent place, right? And so everybody has their own little section. So some of them sell stuff. You may find 2 things of the exact same thing, but they're different prices at different booths. And then they just opened up one in the southwest area of a town called Jinx. And I went to that the other day, and I was just like blown away at that's a small little section, but it's a really deep building, if that makes any sense. Like, it's left and right. You walk up to it, it looks like it's going to be like I don't know, like a 1-bedroom, but it's like a huge long, as long as like a trailer, inside of there. It's super huge. And so there was all kinds of cool stuff there. And I just, it seems like it's easier to find new releases at these kind of places, these vintage stocks or these resale shops, than it is to find it in the brick and mortar stores. And I'm wondering if they have people that work at places or they have connections, and so they're just like, oh yeah, we're stocking this. Well, let me just go ahead and buy that whole pallet from you, and then they'll resell them. So
yeah, I don't trust online sales. Like I said, I've said in some of my reviews and other live shows, I've been burned with online purchases with my identity being stolen twice, and I will never
Yeah, that's scary.
Well, what about
I
Amazon
just
though?
say again.
What about Amazon though? Like not buying from the marketplace, but buying just from Amazon themselves.
Amazon was the first place I got my identity jacked from.
Ah,
The second was eBay. So I've never again, never. I can't do it. I can't do it. And this is why I rely so heavily on general retail, is because of at least there I can either pay cash, or and be satisfied that way that my identity is not going to be stolen if I hand over a $20 bill, for crying out loud.
right, right.
Then I just got to worry if it's somebody forged it or something. But I've never run into that problem. But you never know. No, so I just, this is why I don't like it. All the exclusives that we had in the last 10 years. I'm so tired of everything being an exclusive because I don't buy online.
Yeah,
And sure, it's safer now than ever before. Yada yada, blah blah blah. Don't care. It's happened to me twice. I don't need it to happen a third time. People, if you've never had your identity stolen, you have no idea, no clue how hard it is to recover your life afterwards. No idea. It's happened to you. So people would just say, "Oh, well, just try this or just use one of those, gift cards or whatever." No.
It takes like years to get everything fixed. Like, and even then, you're still concerned.
Oh yeah, it's not something. It's not something that you just No, I can't do it. I can't. Let's see. Adamantium Matrix is asking Neural, how's that work with Amazon? They send it to a store and you pay. Well, that's sort of like what Walmart does. Is what I'll do is I'll go to their website, and if I like something there, I can have it shipped to the store.
Yeah, pick up at store or pick up at location.
Yep, and I've done that plenty of times, but I don't know. I just doesn't help me with other stores exclusives. Doesn't
right.
Doesn't help me.
I like how
Amazon exclusive won't be shipped to a Walmart.
Right.
So that doesn't help me a bit.
I like how Pac says that. He says he remembers the time when we didn't buy with the internet. I'd be like, man, that was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I remember when eBay came out, it was like the new thing, right? Like it was a huge big thing because you were able to buy stuff from people that were states away from you, and it seemed like it worked out so well. Well, I didn't realize that, like, you got to have a credit card. You had to have a credit card. You couldn't use a debit card. You couldn't use a checking account. Like, it was the weirdest thing, right? Because the credit card, the reason why they started out with that was because you could call up the credit card company and say, hey, this is not a real transaction or whatever. Well, then they kind of figured out that, like, we'll kind of expand it out or whatnot. And of course, that brought over other kind of problems as well. But now it's kind of like, we used to go garage sailing when I was younger. And there's still garage sales and stuff around here from time to time. But, if they see something that's a Transformer or a Dino Riders or, something that's, that's vintage. Like, like I'm going to look up it on eBay and see how much it is. And then you won't ever find it for the $2 or $3 that you would have gotten at a garage sale. Because it's just crazy that, like, that's kind of like completely changed that whole dynamic, at least here. I don't know how garage sales work everywhere else.
No, it's about the same. It's about the same wherever you go. Adamantium's Matrix says the good old days, Pack, toy hunt and go broke. Well, I don't know. The good old days. I used to go into a KB toy store, with $100 and walk out with a ton of Transformer toys. All right, anywhere from $5. Nothing really was over $20. So my G2 Megatron didn't cost me that much money. I mean. The whole Machine Wars line, I walked out of KB store with like $115. I mean, the entire line.
I mean, they had cyber jets for like 3 for $10. Like you can still see the stickers that are on the packages. Like it was so awesome. There's a place called Toy Liquidators that was kind of a part of KB Toy Stores, And I was gonna go down to go like there was like a couple weekends we were gonna go down there to go get some, and I had saved up some money in my allowance, and then there was a tornado that hit like that whole area and just completely destroyed that strip mall and everything else. And I even, like I said, nobody got injured or anything that I remember, but it was so long ago I was a kid, who knows. But I did remember asking Dad, I was just like, hey, can we go down there and see if there's any like transformers that are kind of scattered around? Like, I was just like, maybe we can at least find some.
Freebies, eh?
Right, but that's when you're a kid, like you have no concept of like what exactly happened and stuff. So
yeah. I can just picture people doing that too. He's like, "Oh, look what I found over here."
I got space case. I got strafe.
Anybody want a case of Barbies? No. What about this case of Transformers? Sold.
Yeah. It's so sad what happened to KB Toy Stores. They were such a profitable company.
I know. I liked KB.
Murdered.
KB was a good store. KB was a really good store until they, went under, and I think they overextended themselves was the problem. Sort of like
they didn't at all. No, NinjaBill. That's not what happened to KB. They were bought by it's not to get political, but they were bought by like a capitalist vulture company, and they had all their debt shoved over onto them from those other things that other companies they bought that weren't profitable, and then they just collapsed and liquidated the whole thing.
Oh, I didn't realize that. I knew that happened to Toys R Us.
Yeah, I knew that.
Yeah, Toys R Us screwed themselves over. They did screw themselves over because they entered with an agreement with Amazon that they would give them a cheaper price for toys to sell on their website. And it was a really bad deal because Amazon was their direct competition and they didn't seem to realize that. But they had their own website, Toys R Us did, and they were always expensive than everywhere else, any other brick and mortar, like a few bucks. But that made a big difference to families and stuff. So when they would have sales, they would make a lot of money. But when they did that deal with Amazon, it just kept putting them more and more in debt. And then they borrowed from a company or whatever that just, there was no way they were ever going to get out of debt. It was never going to work unless there was like a whole bunch of people that had never been in the toy market just exploded and just started buying things. It was never going to happen. So it's sad what happened to them, but at least they're out there in Canada and they're out there, I think, in the Philippines as their Toys R Us as well.
Yeah.
So
I would like to see them make a comeback, but they even if they did make a regular store, come back in the United States, I doubt it would be ever the same as it was before.
Right. It's definitely, it won't be like the same people or anything.
Well, I didn't realize I'd gone down to Dallas for a work thing, and we went to it was kind of close to Dallas, like I think Richardson or something, but there was a mall that was there that had a Toys R Us Express. I had never heard of this ever.
Really?
And it's just a strip mall version of Toys R Us. Like, it was like KB Toy Stores, but a little smaller. And I was just like, this is like the best idea ever. Why didn't Toys R Us do this? Well, then I look back and I look at the history and stuff, and they had tried that, and it was too little too late by the time they were getting to that point. So
that's a shame.
But now our Toys R Us here in Tulsa, we actually had two of them, but the one that was in the central area of Tulsa, like that one's going to be turned into an Ollie's, and that's going to be on February 12th, Wednesday. It's going to turn into an Ollie's. So
I've never even heard of Ollie's before. I've heard you guys mention it, but it's some sort of big box store or something. I get the impression.
Yeah.
So I've not been in one. Have you, Arbitrary Hero?
That's where I basically have picked up all my Titan class figures from Ollie's because they like Triptychon, Fort Max, Metroplex. They'd end up there for like $50, which.
I'm so jealous.
Yeah.
So they're selling them probably like they're making a very small profit on top of like their margin then.
I imagine they were getting toys from like another store that was just trying to cut. Yeah, I don't know how that works. Like they had to be picking them up for less than like $30, I think, to make any profit.
I know that the Omega Supreme from Siege, which although sold for $159.99 retail, that Hasbro Pulse did a warehouse sale there, I think in Pennsylvania or wherever, and they were just trying to get them out of their warehouse, and they were selling them for $20 each.
Oh my
So if they
God,
were selling Siege Omega
I'd have
Supremes,
asked somebody to get me one.
absolutely, yeah. I mean, it was crazy. It was just like, well, man, $20, I would have wanted like 3 of them, and then I would have made like a countdown base, and then I would have a Mega Supreme with more tracks, and then I could like siege up other parts that were spare parts, like drill into them, make them all custom diorama stuff where they're blasted and things like that. Would have been awesome, right?
Yeah,
but
I'm looking at the story.
So if they're only $20, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just looking up the story we're talking about in Carlisle, Pennsylvania. They're just
That's
ridiculous. I mean, so if that's what Hasbro was going to sell that for, then that makes sense that it maybe be around 30. You know, probably they'd sell to a retailer, maybe 40, and then they jack it up to 160 or have a sale, quote unquote, and it's 120. Or an Ollie's would have it for 60, and they make $20 on top of each one they sell. So I could totally see something like that happening, because it's kind of like a Marshall's, Ross, Dress for Less, like those kind of places, TJ Maxx. Those all have that reselling thing. I don't know why Big Lots though, because we have Big Lots here. I don't know if you guys have those, but I don't know why they don't get a lot of more of the official stuff. They tend to get more kind of knockoff or very low end things for their toys, but it seems like they would also be part of that, where they buy in bulk, like stores that are shutting down, like a Walmart, shutting down, a Target moving away or moving to another building. They need to get rid of all that inventory.
Yeah.
So
most of the big box type stores we got around here is Sam's Club. I mean, but they don't sell toys. I've never seen toys at a Sam's Club anyway. So, you know, that's the more anything like that we have. So we haven't got much now. I go to a much larger town here in Iowa, and then we find all kinds of stores, but I've never heard or seen an Ollie's before in any of them. So maybe it's yet to reach out my state. Who knows? It seems like it's all around everywhere but this state. Maybe that's on purpose or by accident. Iowa.
Oh, Iowa.
Yeah. So whether that's by design or on purpose or by accident, I don't know, but it seems to be everywhere but here.
Yeah.
There was another store that used to sell a lot of Transformer exclusives. I forget the name of it, but they're everywhere again but here in Iowa. And I was just like, what? Jax, I think they're called, or something like that. I forget the name of them. Anyway, not important, but it's just like, it's weird how that seems to happen. I'll go over to Illinois, you know, and there's all these store chains I've never even heard of. And then I'll go to Nebraska, they're there. I'll go down to Omaha, they're there. But anywhere here in Iowa, not so much. I'd be like, wow, why? But
yeah. And like, you had a hard time even getting like Siege Ratchet like at Walgreens too. Did you not have very many Walgreens in Iowa?
We do have a lot of them, but now whether they actually stock, the Walgreens here don't stock many toys. They stock much more other type of merchandise, medical stuff, and some food, not a lot of it. I've seen pictures of Walgreens where they have great food aisles and whatnot, almost like a Hy-Vee or a Walmart type of thing. But Master to link to the, yes, you can. There we go. Sorry about that. I must have cut you off or something there, Arbitrary Hero.
No.
Okay. All right. Okay. So, but you know, it just surprises me that there are so many chains that I've seen people talk about that I've never even heard of or seen here, and that's okay. That's okay. There's a lot of chains here, like I surprisingly find them in strange places, like Farm and Fleet stores here. I'll sometimes find Transformer figures in where I can find them nowhere else, and that's just odd to me.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, how can my local Farm and Fleet have a toy that I couldn't find
hey guys.
in a major retailer? Hey, Master Fire, welcome.
Hey, Master Fire.
Hey guys, I actually didn't see the time. So I'm on East Coast, so it's approaching 10:30 for my time,
Oh, okay.
and I got a meeting in the morning to go to. But I just want to say thanks again for having me on, Ninja Bill. Thanks. It was great to talk to everyone in person, and hope to do this again soon.
Yeah.
You're always welcome.
It was good to talk to you too, Arbitrary Hero. Nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you. Thanks, guys.
If you're wondering why I'm here all of a sudden, it's because I was watching the Super Bowl.
Okay, I wanted to say before he left, so everyone in chat, make sure you go and subscribe to Arbitrary Hero. Subscribe to everybody else here in the chat if you're not already. And once again, thank you, Arbitrary Hero, for joining me here. It's a great pleasure having you guys. What you guys do with your, extra life challenge is amazing. It's no. He had to go.
I'm kidding.
Hey, listen to when I'm speaking. It's not over. Arbitrary Hero had to go. There we go.
I'm kidding. But yeah, I just watched the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I didn't want to watch that tonight. So, but yeah, it's amazing how many stores I don't get around here. But that's okay in the long run. People find things and send them to me, and I'm always grateful for that. And that's probably one of the things I love about our community.
I'm just shocked that you had so many problems with Siege Ratchet.
I actually have Siege Ratchet, and he is nice. I actually talked about him on my channel.
Well, I mean, for NinjaBill, like when you got yours, like I'm surprised at like all the problems you had with like the panel and the head not being together. I was like, what the? I was just like, I've not heard of anybody having any of those problems. And like, you're the person who shouldn't have a problem because you love Ratchet.
You got the copy intended for Bolt Matrix.
There you go. Yeah, that head thing is like, and I can't do nothing about it, really, honestly, because if I pry it apart, because there's no screws, I'll chance on cracking it or breaking it. So there's nothing I can really do except to just, lie there and take it. Boy, that could be perceived in the wrong way.
I never have QC problems. I literally never have QC problems.
And now you jinxed yourself.
And I was going to say, now you've done it. You jinxed yourself.
Oh, please. But still, even with the most QC-ridden figures like Slam Dance, my Slam Dance is totally fine. You see where I'm going with this? All the QC is fine in the figures I have. Granted, I did have Skull Smasher with his loose legs, but they were fine after I applied a little glue.
So you haven't gotten perfect figures, is what you're saying, and that's okay.
Yeah, I haven't gotten burned, and GPS doesn't count. I know I had a Torque that shattered a while ago, but it's GPS, and when you're playing with it, fine. It just nothing happens, but when you're trying to be careful, it shatters.
You know what's weird about that gold plastic syndrome? You bring that up, Masterfire, is I kind of remember that being a thing that was talked about really early on, and I think there was a Generation 2 laser rod that was made out of gold plastic. But I think it became a bigger deal. Yeah, Electro. I think it became a bigger deal.
And Slingshot.
Yeah, with Generation 2 Slingshot. That was it. So, but I don't remember
Pyro
that falling apart on me either. I'm sorry, I couldn't hear Masterfire. I was talking. What?
Oh, sorry. I'm also talking about there's also Pyro, Monstructor.
Right, but those were before. Those were before my time. So I grew up with Generation 2. So I never had a problem with the Slingshot, but I do remember when Grimlock came out for Beast Wars, that had the gold plastic legs and everything like that. I never had any problem. I still don't to this day have any problem with that Dinobot. But everybody else, in the forums or anything like that, or even video reviews, everyone else had a problem with it. And so I went back and went to go look at mine a few years ago. Well, actually, maybe more than that, probably about 5 years ago. And I went to go check it, and I was like, there's still no problem with this. So it has to be kind of one of those where maybe the first run was okay, but then the rest of it, they kind of phoned it in. And but then nowadays it's different, right? The first run tends to be the crappy run, and then the subsequent waves, things get fixed. So it's kind of weird how stuff like that gets flipped.
Oh, and
Wait.
there was also Transmetal Megatron.
See, I never had any problem with that Transmetal Megatron either. And I had that one I did have the second run because I know the first run had blue head, a blue vacuum metallized head.
Yep.
So I had the one that had the purpley pink that was the correct for the show. Didn't have any issues with it. Now I've long since sold
The
it
Japanese
because
one.
I just never really wanted. Like, I don't know, at that time I was kind of offloading a lot of the Beast Wars stuff. Beast Machines put a really bad taste in my mouth, and I was kind of offloading Beast Wars toys around that time because I was just like, this
Were
isn't
there
for me.
Any figures with GPS and Beast Machines?
No, none of them use gold plastic. Not even Battle Unicorn or Longhorn. Those were all brown.
No, wait, that was Magna Stampede. Does
So,
Armada
now
Optimus have GPS?
there was Beast Wars Neo that had Randy,
Randy,
but that was a
Galvatron.
recolor of Razor Beast.
Hakuna Matata, I guess. Did they ever make a Meerkat Transformer?
Oh God, I hope not.
That would be hilarious if they had that.
Apache was a baboon, so Rafiki. Prowl was a lion, so Simba. And Razor Beast is Pumbaa. Did they ever make a Meerkat?
No.
That seems like that may be part of the 25th anniversary. They'll make a Meerkat and they'll make a Warthog.
Hakuna
Oh, God,
Matata.
I hope not. I hope not.
Yeah, but
I don't want. I don't want to give Disney any ideas of trying to buy the Transformers franchise, guys. Don't
Would that
give
make Lyle
Disney
Convoy
ideas,
Mufasa?
okay?
That would be
Lyle
pretty
Convoy
funny, though.
Mufasa.
Don't give them Disney
What?
ideas that they don't have.
Lyle
Because
Convoy would be Mufasa, and Scar would be Galva Lyle Convoy, and Simba would be Lyle Jr.
all I'm saying is don't give Disney ideas. They're already a shady, evil, giant mega
Too late,
corporation
man,
that
too
needs to
late. I
die
know
in a
they're
fire,
shady
and
as hell
here you
now.
are trying to give
But
them
still.
more money. Don't do it. Don't give them ideas. I don't want Disney touching the Transformers franchise. No way, no shape, no how. I don't want shows appearing on their networks. Nothing. Because I hate Disney.
But still,
But still, what?
you
No.
gotta admit, like, you could do Lion King with the Transformers characters. Like,
No, I don't want to admit it because
Nope,
that would give
nope.
Disney ideas. Disney would see
come
somebody
on,
doing a
it's
picture of
already
that
set up.
and
The-
say,
the
okay,
beginning
now we're going to
Circle
offer
of Life,
$25 billion
Rafiki is played
to
by
Hasbro.
Apache, Lyle Jr., Lyle Convoy.
No,
Nah, Sylvania.
no,
Body
no. No.
So I don't know how it's the circle of life.
And there goes the copyright, Ninja Bill.
There goes the copyright. Thank you very much, Master Far, for ruining
There
my
was-
channel.
There was somebody that was doing a what's that? Oh my gosh, I just forgot what it was, but it wasn't like Ring Around the Rosie, but it was like one of those like old timey like children nursery rhymes, and they were just singing it, right? But they
Rat
didn't have the
Trap's
music
one
in the
that's
background or
spraying
something. They used a tune or something like that,
Rat
and
Trap.
they ended up getting a
Rat Trap
copyright.
spreading the bubonic plague.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I didn't hear you, Master Fire.
Now you got me thinking of Rat Trap spreading the bubonic plague, and him going, "You're all gonna die."
Well, so they used that tune or whatever, and it ended up
Yeah,
being like like they ended up getting a copyright thing for it or notice for it, and they were just like, "What? It was like me and my daughter singing. What the hell?" So
Oh, yeah.
he just took it down. He's just like, "Whatever."
They're nuts for that. They're not. The music industry is nuts for that stuff. I mean, they tried telling me that they copyright strike me over elevator music, which they even got wrong. A copyright strike against a song they don't even own. Are you kidding me?
You're fired.
It's like, ooh. Let's see. Adamantium Matrix in the chat says, "Oh, by the way, has anyone bought the Toy Hacks Tripticon Tower decals for a penny? I haven't looked on the site yet."
Yeah, but they're just for the
Nah.
tower, though. So that's why they're so cheap. Because it's just for those tower icons. It's not like a full set for Triptychon. I think
there you go.
Input was going to get those too, but there's two different versions of Triptychon's towers,
Guys, I
apparently.
gotta go. I can't stay any longer. Since
All right.
I'm
Have a good one,
tired
Master
and I
Bar.
have college.
Later at Master Bar. Have a good one.
Later.
But so they are just the tower stickers. That's it.
Yeah, I don't think Master Far left correctly because he's still kind of stuck.
He's still kind of stuck.
Yeah. Yeah, these are, let me see, I'm looking at the website, Adamantium Matrix. They are Titans Return Triptychon alternate tower stickers. These are for the Triptychon sets with the asymmetrical towers. So you'll want to check those. I've not heard anybody even mention that in the any toy reviews, but I am aware that there are two different versions of them. So you might want to double check, make sure very closely at your Triptychon that those will match. Otherwise, they won't work. So
there you go, straight from the Raptor's mouth, so to speak.
Hey, Kato's in here. What's
Kato,
up, Kato,
welcome.
man?
I did not see Kato come in.
Yeah, he just now posted in the chat.
Oh, okay. Well, welcome, Kato.
Oh my
if you'd like
goodness!
to join us, or is it too, or were you probably watching the Super Bowl? Were you, Kato? Is that what you were doing? You and the missus?
And if you get the set for the entire Titans Return Triptychon, it's $45.
What?
That's crazy. It's just
Wow.
stickers,
I
but
wouldn't
I will admit, there's a ton of stickers, but I don't know if they're worth almost leader class pricing for stickers.
I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
You know what? I finally got around to putting the stickers on Predaking, and I hated it. Here's the thing, though, is I've got arthritis in my hands, and if you don't have arthritis in your hands, people say, "Oh, it's easy. It only took me, 30 minutes to do them." Well, that's fantastic for you, ass wipe. Well, you have that's fantastic for you. Heck, great. I got arthritis in my fingers. Try it sometime, and then come talk to me about how easy it was. Jerk off.
NinjaBill, you kind of reminded me of Transformers Prime Ratchet when you wanted to say that. Well, that's good for you, asshole.
Exactly. Exactly.
It's funny.
Let's see. Hell no, I could care less about football. Okay, well, you do you, Kato. You know football. That's okay. That's okay. I don't much do football anymore either. I haven't watched a game. I've watched exactly 2 games this year. That's it. Last year I watched maybe 6 games, and that's just been declining. My love for football has been declining for the last decade or so. It's just it's declined.
I've never been a sports person unless it's going to the beach and playing with the girls on volleyball. But other than that, no.
I don't much. I've never been much of a sports person. I like watching. I used to really love watching football, but I sort of it's lost its luster for me. That's the only way to say it. It has lost its luster, so I don't much care anymore.
I like how Kato says, he's like, I'm laying in bed watching with the earbuds on, so I don't wake the sleeping ginger.
Waking sleeping gingers can be what's the word I want to use here? Troublesome.
Well, I know that like his girlfriend, wife, I think it's girlfriend. I forget. She's redhead, but like I just when I saw ginger, I thought of like a gingerbread person, and I'm just like, what?
No, redhead, fiery redhead, yeah. Fiery, yeah. Let's see. Neuro says, I don't want to offend, but Toy Hacks pissed me off, and I don't feel like buying from them anymore, even for a penny. Well, that's okay. That's how you feel. I don't buy from Toy Hacks simply because I don't enjoy putting stickers on. Again, I have arthritis in my hands, and it's not fun. It's just not fun. It's not easy. It's not fun, and I don't enjoy it. I enjoy painting, which is odd because it's Pardon me. Oh, took a drink, went down the wrong way. Took a drink, went down the wrong tube. But I don't. It's still painful. It's the same as stickers, but I just something I enjoy is painting. So I would rather paint than put stickers on any day of the week because, you know, even I can do be more effective with paint when stickers when my hands are shaking from pain. At least I can steady. I can go back and correct the paint errors, whatnot with the sticker once it's on there. If it's on there bad, you're gonna have to pull it off, and then you're pretty much screwed. So,
like sometimes, like I've looked at a lot of their sets, and they're really good. Especially a lot of their older stuff is really good. But I think they've like gone way like beyond like just like a simple sticker pack here or two, and they've gone to like so much so that like some of them will come with 3D printed parts, some of them will come with parts that not like or like they'll come with stickers that'll almost completely change the character into somebody else, like turning Brunt into a deadlift, or we talked about that Minor Wars blast off jet, turning it into lift ticket or something like that, or takeoff. I forget the name. I think it's takeoff. But they've like way expanded further than I would ever think that they would do. But for me, it's like sometimes there's stickers I would like to be able to customize. And can I have this sticker, that sticker, this sticker, and like print it out for a sheet for me, like some kind of custom shopping like that would. I mean, I know that's probably way complicated.
Well, in that case,
they would be custom orders.
One of my friends said, in that case, just print your, you buy water marker sheets, right? Water sticker sheets, and then you can just print your own sticker on that water sheet. It's a water slide decal sheet that you print.
Like in Gunpla.
Yep. And so in that case, I would go that direction if I really needed custom stickers. But I just no, I don't want to do stickers. I don't want to do, and that's not to take anything from Toy Hacks or like Patriot Prime or Optimus Wilbur reviews. And Arbitrary Hero himself, who'd have fantastic, and Larkin's Lair have fantastic Toy Hacks videos, and that's great. And by the way, Optimus Wilbur, mentioning him, he had his first live show today, folks. So if you missed it, go check that out. It was a fun time with him. He had his first live show today, and it was a fun time. It was a fun time. So hopefully he does some more. He's getting used to the software. It was a lot.
I got NinjaBill on that one coming in at the end. Well, what? Okay, so when he posted a reminder, right? So I go to the reminder and I'm like, okay, it's just sitting there. I was like, well, wait a minute, it says he's live on his channel. So I back out and I was like, oh, there's another one that got created. So I click on that one, didn't realize that was just 7 minutes of recording. And then I was like, what's going on here? Like I'm not able to chat. And then I realized, oh, this is a pre-recording or just a 7-minute segment. So then I join into the real one, and then it's just like, okay, we're leaving, we're bye, and I'll be like, crap. So I kept getting into the wrong one.
I just it was weird because there was this weird reverberation that he would be speaking and I would be speaking, and then like a few seconds later the entire conversation would repeat over what we were just saying. So it was this weird thing going on. So he had to stop his first one and then start the other one over again. And then the problem was corrected and everything was fine. And whatever the problem was, something to do with his mic or something, I'm not sure. But it was great having him being with him on his first live show. And it's fun. And I always tell people, if you haven't done something before, give it a shot at least once to see how it goes. Learn how it works. I had to do the same with this very software I'm using right now. So I think Omega Supreme Toy Hack stickers are a must, though, Neuro said. And, of course, you agreed. And I don't know. Maybe if I get an Omega Supreme, I might, but I doubt it. I didn't enjoy doing stickers on – I got half the stickers on Trypticon, and I've got all the stickers on Predaking, and those were just the factory ones. I doubt I would do any more than that. I doubt I'm going to finish Trypticons anytime soon.
I didn't agree. I was talking about something else, and then Nero posted that in between what I was talking about. But because like they were repo labels, and then they turned into toy hacks, is what I understood that they did. But the Omega Supreme stickers, I don't really think they're necessary either. And they were very pricey, like $36 is even their sale price right now. They were originally, like we were talking about, $45.
Wow.
I mean, I like a cartoon version, I think, of the figures more than I like anything else. But the quality that they put in those and the stickers themselves is amazing. I mean, there's no doubt about that. It's just not something I'd want on my figures.
Perfect example of that. Skyfire, Jetfire here. Perfect example of that right here is like if you get the Toy Hacks labels and put them on them, you actually take away from the cartoon look. This looks like
you make them look like
cartoon.
Yeah, they make him look like the Robotech or the G1 version, the Rick Hunter version, and it completely takes away from the figure, and it's too busy.
Exactly. Now, I have not had the problem people had the white here. Just to note, I have not had the problem with the white here that some people have been having. The white on here is still pretty solid, still pretty thick. So just to point that out. Other people have said it's faded or something, and not maybe could have used another coat. No, mine is fine. So thankfully, but yeah, getting a Toy Hacks label for this guy, I don't think makes sense in any shape or form because it takes away from the cartoon look, which is what they were going for.
Yeah, and I just didn't want like that Siege Jetfire to. I wanted it to be Skyfire. I didn't want it to be turned into a G1 Jetfire, like because we have plenty of versions of that. We don't need to have the Skyfire turned into something he never was.
Yeah, exactly. And that Omega, if I do get an Omega, I'm not going to put any stickers on him because, I have the G1 Omega Supreme. Everybody's seen, still in box, never been out of the box, ever. It's sealed in the box, still sealed in the box, never been out of the box, and I never will take him out of the box. But that one didn't have many stickers on it either, the original. So why would you need more on a toy that will look very much like he did in the cartoon in the first place? I don't know, but hey, everybody to each their own. So, that works. And with that, I think I'm going to close the show.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone, for joining me in live chat. Thank you, Crimson Raptors, Arbitrary Hero, TFN Geek, Master Far. I forget who else has joined us. But anyway, thank you guys for joining me very much. And we'll all see you next week. And I hope you have a great evening. I really appreciate you guys joining me. Really appreciate all the fun times we've had and all that we do together. And above everything else, be good to each other. And Crimson Raptors, I'll leave you to take us out.
So, what do I say on the end of this? What do you want me to say?